This program was produced by and first broadcast on Radio Kidnappers, a community access media station. Thanks to New Zealand On Air for making this type of programming possible.
Good morning, everybody. It's Heiko here from the Acupuncture on Air show, and here I am again interviewing people from around the world. And in this case, we've got a very special guest from Melbourne in Australia, Ilana Sowter. So how are you, Ilana?
I'm great, Heiko. Thank you so much for having me on your show. You're a bit of a legend in New Zealand for Chinese medicine, so I'm very honoured to be here.
Yeah, well, now the legend can spread to Australia as well, so yeah,
I think it will. Yeah. I think it will. You'll have to come and do some seminars for us.
Yeah. Now, before we start on the topic, which is a very interesting topic, and it's a very sort of a loose sort of subject, where acupuncture and the role that it can play in helping women with their health issues, but before we get into that in any detail, just tell us first, how did you get involved in acupuncture and what made you to decide to study acupuncture?
Well, I was very fortunate because back in 2005, I'd been travelling in Central America, returned home to Melbourne and had a shocking chest infection and rash. And I remember reading about acupuncture benefiting immunity in a magazine. Booked in after my first appointment, the rash, which I'd had for at least a month or two, just went.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so a rash on my chest. And I just kept going because I was amazed. And
then you decided, I might study this, or what happened?
Well, no, I actually, I was really into natural therapies, and I was thinking about naturopathy, but my acupuncturist, who was a lovely lady called Goronia from Ireland, she said to me, Ilana, you know so much about herbs already. You should study acupuncture. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to do this.
Okay, that's great. Now, where did you end up doing your degree? And just tell us a bit about that, how long, and also you ended up practicing in Auckland. So just tell us a bit how all this came about.
Yeah, so I was originally quite a sciencey person. So my first degree, I studied science at Melbourne and Italian. So then, as you know, I got into acupuncture. And when I got into it, I thought, God, this is so strange, because I remember them explaining qi and all these different mechanisms, and I was used to a very scientific perspective. So it took me some time to get my head around that. And I studied at Endeavour College in Melbourne, which used to be Australian College of Natural Medicine.
Yep.
And then I did my master's just recently. I finished that last year in Chinese herbal medicine at RMIT.
All right.
Yeah.
And now, how did you end up in Auckland and then back again in Melbourne?
Yeah. So, we were really lucky because Andy, my partner, he got a transfer to a promotion to Auckland with his work. So we've travelled quite a bit, and, as soon as we got that opportunity, it was like, wow, it was amazing, because I guess for me, New Zealand is such an amazing place with so many great things to see, the beaches, so much coast, and, just an experience to really see the whole country. And then obviously it was great to, meet people like you and so many other wonderful Chinese medicine practitioners there too.
Okay, now how did you end up? I know it tends to be a lot of practitioners, they get a specialist interest in something, but you had a specialist interest in women's health. Now how did that come about? And just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I would just say that was alignment from the universe, because in my final year of my acupuncture degree, I was obviously in clinic, and I was pregnant at the time with my son Jude, and so what ended up happening was every time there were gynae or pregnancy cases, students would send them all to me.
Okay.
And then when I finished my degree, we moved to Sydney, and I was so lucky. I just got this new job as an acupuncturist, which basically she advertised to someone with at least 5 years experience, but she really loved me in the interview. Her name's Naya Richards, and I got to work in her clinic, which is, a nugget for fertility and gynae stuff in Sydney called the House of Fertility and Healing. So So it was just constant, female cases. And so initially I did a lot of fertility and a lot of pregnancy postpartum.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess because it's nearly 10 years that I've been practicing now, and I guess now recently I had a good think about what do I really love treating, who do I really love helping, and I really do. I love helping women. I love helping women feel better and being able to understand their bodies.
So what sort of conditions are you treating now, if you like? So give us a bit of a depth, like what would be an average day for you in the clinic?
Yeah, it's definitely a range of cases because I'm in an inner city suburb. So, I've got some women post full hysterectomy. So we're basically supporting their body, after they've had their ovaries out and coping with that. Definitely still, natural fertility support and IVF support. There's quite a few of those cases. I often get women with, young girls who, they've just had menarche and they're needing to balance their cycle. They've got, menstrual issues like long cycles or period pain, headaches, PMS, weight loss, pain. Of course, acupuncture is so good for pain. A lot of my patients, they just come and see me when they need a tune-up. If they get a cold and flu, they get an ache or a pain.
Are you seeing more women than men, or is it sort of...
Definitely more women than men. And then usually I find, because it's predominantly a female patient base, that women will refer their husbands or their dads, or it usually goes like that.
Okay. Now also, and you have a bit of a reputation in your practice that you're, as well as being an acupuncturist, if you like, and though you're not a counsellor per se, but you have a bit of a reputation of being like a life coach. Do you want to tell us a bit or elaborate a bit on that?
Yeah, I just really found that really from the beginning of practicing Chinese medicine, I really got involved into my patients and I really dug about what was going on in their life, and I repeatedly found that people would come in, they couldn't get pregnant, or they had an illness, and when you'd have a good chat to them, you'd realise that, or we'd work out that they weren't happy or something wasn't right in their relationship, etc. And so it comes back to that Chinese medicine principle of the Shen, the spirit, being the master of the body. And if the mind's not happy, Shen is mind. If it's not happy, then it's very difficult for the body to be happy.
Okay. Now, are you finding that some women are just sort of coming to you almost as a first port of call, like, well, just go and see Ilana and get some advice and, just find out a bit about what we can do, is instead of just thinking, I'm going to go and have acupuncture with her, but they're sort of just coming for a bit of a general direction?
Absolutely. And I guess that's when I was definitely, because I've just moved back to Melbourne, but that was definitely happening in New Zealand because I created quite a strong patient base and I was in Murray's Bay on the North Shore. Mm-hmm. And, so I'd have a few local patients, and then I found in New Zealand word just spread like fire. So women would say, she's really good and you're obviously going through these problems, why don't you go and see them? And, just like the topic of today is like raising your girls to be vital, balanced, happy women, ideally, if only people knew, it really comes down to, educating their daughters at the beginning, when in childhood, and especially those teenage years of how to look after themselves, like during the period, processing emotions and all those kinds of things, that it would definitely help them to be more balanced, happier adults.
Yeah, I do know, just going off the topic a bit, that, we, particularly with like the teenage girls of this day and age, is that they're sort of programmed into, during your menstrual cycle, it's okay, you can go surfing, go swimming in freezing cold water.
Exactly, the carefree tampon girls.
Yeah, eat ice cream, go to the gym and do all this, and you see, and I know at our home we have had a couple of Chinese homestay students.
Yeah.
And of course they're completely different. I won't be doing, I have to get a note, I can't go swimming today because, the menstrual cycle. I have to, can you cook me some dongguai with some chicken,
Wow,
whereas,
that's amazing.
So are you slowly trying to get that message out there to the girls of the Western women?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess it's a good point that you bring up, Heiko, because I guess it also becomes a sexist thing too, where maybe as a woman, and I know that growing up in Australia, I felt like that, saying, well, why should I miss out if I've got my period?
Yeah.
It's not fair. The guys get to do it. Why can't I? But I guess it's more so having that understanding of the body that, if you've got your period and you're actually bleeding, you're losing blood. So your body just needs to rest and it needs to be looked after. And, absolutely. I want to educate women about that because it's really sad when you meet people, 10 years after they've gotten their period and they've been on the IUD or they've had all these issues, and you think, God, that 10 years ago, that could have been just a lifestyle change.
Now I know that you're also helping educate your patients, but you haven't actually told us that you're actually also teaching Chinese medicine, and you're actually teaching it you're still teaching your students in Auckland at the Auckland College. And so tell us a bit about that, and then we'll probably have to finish the show.
Yeah, sure. That's amazing. I was so lucky. I got an opportunity to lecture student clinic and TCM gynecology last semester. And, Jessica, the head lady there, she liked me so much that she said, why don't we just give it a go doing it online when you're in Australia? So now every Tuesday morning at around 7:30 a.m. I jump online and we use Zoom, and it's amazing because you can put all your lecture notes up. I can talk to them. We can have interacting conversations. And I love doing that because it makes my gynae skills so much better because I'm constantly revising all the history and the patterns and things. And once again, educating people. And, people love hearing about it because I'll often say, we know in Chinese medicine that too much sex injures the kidney, but we didn't know that no sex can affect the body too. So, it's really inspiring.
No, that's fantastic. Well, listen, my producer over there, he's waving at me. He says the time's running out. So thanks again for coming on the show. But we just thought I'd finish the show with a song by the Eurythmics, and it's called Sisters Are Doing It For Themselves. And I thought it's quite appropriate for our thing.
Yeah,
and just definitely. To let our listeners know, we're going to be doing a whole series of talks. So we look forward to talking to you again in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. So will I, Heiko.
All right, all the best, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, you too.
This program was produced by and first broadcast on Radio Kidnappers, a community access media station. Thanks to New Zealand On Air for making this type of programming possible.